Hello, how are you feeling today? New day, new symptoms? I know you know exactly what I mean because you too experience your fair share of health symptoms. And how do you keep a job while trying to cope and heal some of your symptoms? In today's video, I'm going to try and explain how I keep a job while dealing with my health conditions, I guess you could say. It's not easy. I think if I had to be at a full-time office job again, I would probably fail because I, for the most part, wouldn't be able to actually go to work most days. And if I was at work, I would be trying to deal and cope with what was going on with me on that day, during that week, during a season, etc. Just a reminder, I am not a medical expert. I am just a person like you. So please seek the help of a professional medical expert with your specific health symptoms. I haven't had a job, like an office job, since like 2009, early 2009. That's the year my first child was born. And I had plans to go back, but when it came down to it, I tried it. I brought my son to childcare, and I think I went to work. I tried to go to work. I'm not sure. I can't even remember, but I had this like overwhelming feeling of anxiety and just, I wasn't able to. I fortunately was lucky enough with my husband to decide that I should just stay home while raising our first child and eventually another. And I felt very blessed to be able to do that. I did continue to freelance and work throughout that time when I could. I had a computer at home, so I could do pretty much everything I was doing at an office job, but from home. And because I had two little kids eventually at home, I wasn't able to work full time, of course, but just getting some contracts here and there kept me busy and kept my brain occupied, so that was good. And during those years, I didn't really know what was going on with me. I knew I never felt great, but I never really knew why. And if I recall the last few years of being at an office job, like every day, I think the worst symptoms were I always had sore back, sore neck, carpal tunnel was a big deal. In the afternoon, I would always joke about it and say, my wrists are on fire. Like my arms and wrist, everything felt tingly and burning and just numb. It was really like annoying, especially when you're doing computer work and you're trying to draw or type or it was just very painful. And I also experienced, I would say, pretty much every day I had a mild headache, and I always had Advil on my desk, and I would pop a few pills and it would kind of like ease some of the pain, but it would never really make it go away. It's hard when you have an office job and let's say you have issues with your bowels or you pee constantly. I don't know. I mean, if you're at an office where you can use the washroom as much as you can, it's great, but it's a little annoying when, your coworkers have to watch you get up like at least once an hour or maybe sometimes twice to use the washroom and not really know why. You're always peeing and or pooping because you're not feeling your best. I do remember that being kind of it's problematic. It's not easy, especially if you need to actually leave your office to go to a meeting and then you're always thinking, okay, I gotta go to the washroom before I leave. Oh crap, what if I literally have to use the washroom when I'm somewhere else? It can be embarrassing or you're always constantly thinking ahead or or being prepared in case you had some sort of an accident. Once my kids got a little bit older and they started school, and I was ready to dig deeper into why I was having all these health symptoms or health issues, is when I decided to pivot in the sense that I took a culinary nutrition course, because in my mind, I was like, I wanted to heal myself as naturally as I could. I wanted to learn how to cook with healing ingredients and eventually maybe even teach others how to do the same thing. With that being said, after I successfully completed the course, I was really truly passionate, and I know I wanted to do something good, but I was still trying to figure out how can I do this without having to go somewhere. Hosting workshops is wonderful, but when you're not feeling your best or get overwhelmed or anxious because you're having to prep all this stuff in order to teach, and also the money, there's little to no money, I don't know, in workshops. So to me, it still wasn't quite the solution. And that's when I just started to create a food blog. When I started, I have to be super honest, I didn't really know where it would bring me. But in the end, I realized that the niche is like the main topic I decided to concentrate my efforts on. And in my case, it was plant-based and allergen-friendly recipes. I quickly realized that there was such a big and huge demand for those kinds of recipes. I mean, there's a lot of gluten-free vegan bloggers, but then what if you can't use nuts, right? So eliminating the eggs, the dairy, the nuts, the gluten, and even soy, eliminating all of the top allergens was really simple, and it made so much sense to me, especially that I personally had a lot of food sensitivities and my son had anaphylactic food allergies. So it just kind of made sense. I realized that more and more people weren't necessarily following me for my plant-based, like healthy recipes, but more my baked recipes, because those are the recipes that people needed most the help with. So my niche kind of got even narrower in the sense that I'm still creating plant-based and allergen-friendly recipes, but a lot of bread recipes or baked goods, even some grain-free baked treats. And I think that's when I started to see my community grow and things really change for me. And it was exciting. And my goal with that was, of course, like anything else, we want to create something that we can eventually earn an income. And for me, just being able to work from home was a huge, huge, huge benefit. And because when you work from home, you can create your own schedules, you can work as hard as you want to when you're feeling better. And if you don't feel good, well, you can take a break if you must. Because of the flexibility of my schedule, I'm more relaxed and it's better for me, and I'm close to toilets, which is really important and necessary. It's a quieter environment. I was noticing that in the last few years, just lots of chaos or noise or just distractions was kind of also stressing me out more and just not creating the quiet environment I am the most productive in. I could rest when I needed to. If you're at home and you're working on healing a specific condition, it's easier to take your medication because I'm sure you know, when you're going through something, it's very common to have to take something like every hour. It's not that uncommon, and you have a schedule of all the different things you need to take at different times, so it's great when you can do so from home. And when you're at home, you're in complete control. You control what goes on in your day, which is pretty great, especially for myself. I had worked for other people for, a good 20 plus years. So it's like your own boss, and just knowing that you can do what you want when you want to is an awesome feeling. You have medical appointments, and for myself, they're not necessarily in person right now because of what's going on in the world. So I have my consultations with my naturopath online. So being that I'm already at home makes it super easy, and just not having to go somewhere is really, really nice, because I feel that in my past, like the past 10 years, or even when having kids, just going to all these appointments was really creating more stress that I didn't really want to deal with. But when you're going through something, it's important at times to be there in person if you're getting some sort of an ultrasound or a scan or IV treatments or getting blood work. You will eventually have to go in person, but if you can do everything else from home online, that's really great. I'm not consistently very creative or productive. I am a very creative person, but I have to be in the right like state of mind to be super creative. So if I'm not feeling it, I don't force it, because if I try to force something, it just doesn't work out. So when I'm feeling great and productive and creative, that's when I crank out a lot of work. In one day I can develop a recipe, test it at least once. I can write up the rough of the recipe and the instructions. I can take some photographs. Sometimes I'll even do a video, and then I can edit my photos, edit my videos. There's like so much that goes on behind the scenes of having a recipe blog, but it's fun. But again, it has to be when you're feeling it and into it, because if not, it does create a little bit of overwhelm. But anyways. And another point that I wrote is that you don't have to drive anywhere. So when you're working from home, it's just nice to know that you don't have to go in your car and drive long distances, especially when you're not feeling good. I definitely have those moments where I can't drive, and on those days I do not drive. I only get in my car when I feel good enough to be attentive and, of course, drive in traffic. The bad side of working from home is it's very easy to get distracted. Very easy to get distracted. When I am at home, though, I don't try to do like house chores when I'm trying to work. So when my kids are at school, that's my work time, and that's when I try to do my work. Everything else I do after those hours. For some people, being solo at home by themselves is top notch, excellent. They love it. And I do like being alone, because I feel that everything else in my life is sometimes chaotic. So just the time that I have to work from home solo, I really appreciate it. But if you're a person that loves to be with tons of people all the time, you get little to like no interactions with other people in a day. And that's like really common. And so if you're not that person, then working from home might be a little bit harder. And I've mentioned it sort of briefly before, but it's very hard for me to keep a schedule. I don't do schedules. I have in the past when I felt a bit better, but when I don't feel good, I don't bother, because then I get more stressed out about not being able to meet my schedule. So you know what? I might jot down some ideas of what I want to try to accomplish in a week. And if I can get those things done and more, awesome. But having a set schedule where I need to talk to somebody at a certain time or finish a blog post by 1 p.m. on Thursday, I don't do that, because that would just not work with my lifestyle at all. I feel like if I do work too much, I sometimes get burnt out, in the sense that my eyes will just become dry and inflamed, and my body's gonna be tired. One day in the kitchen testing recipes or whatever will wipe me out for 3 days after. I don't know if it's from standing or moving or doing all the things, or anyways, but so one productive day at work means that the next few days I might not feel my best. So those days might be at the computer where I can be sitting down and it's a little bit more relaxing. Well, if you're watching this because you too are in a similar situation and you're trying to figure out maybe how to make some extra income, well, first off, I think I have to say that it's okay to take a break. You know, I am not the best at doing so, but if you're trying to heal, you need to rest, you need to sleep to help your body feel better. So do that firsthand in order for your brain even to get better and be clearer. And then once you do feel better, that's when you can consider maybe taking an online course or even in person if that is possible for you. Because maybe teaching or learning new skills could give you an opportunity to do something from home after that. If you're good with your hands, maybe you could help somebody make something. So if it's somebody that makes like little ornaments, maybe there's something you could help with, like assembly, and you do it when it's best for you, and that would be very helpful to somebody. So you would try to open up some connections with people in your community if that's what interests you. If you're good at writing, you could write for like small short articles for somebody's blog. So if you're an expert or feel like you know so much more about Lyme disease or mold illness, or if you have celiac or Crohn's, if you go through your fair share of thyroid issues or hormonal issues, and you would like to share your opinion or your thoughts, consider writing, or just, read some blogs and find a style of blog post that you like and write a few. And then maybe that could be something you could do from your bed if you're like not getting out of bed every day. And, it's good to keep your mind busy and occupied so you don't let that part of your person go. And I realize a lot of this is easier said than done, because when we're experiencing a flare or trying to heal, depending on what medications you're taking, when you're feeling sick, you might be, feeling super nauseous, you might be in pain all over. Your head might not be thinking clearly. So it can be very hard to create or be productive in any sense of the word. So if you have a family and you're maintaining or, taking care of a home, maybe that's the extent of your work. And your spouse or your partner or your family just has to realize that for that time, they need to be supportive and let you do what your body is able to do. So yeah, your support team definitely is very important. In the end, and I know, again, it's easier said than done, but if you're watching this video, it's maybe because you are trying to find ways to earn extra income, because I know we can all use a little extra money, and it's nice to earn money with something that you make, that you create, and it's a good feeling. And of course, all this has to bring you joy, and it has to make you happy, because if it doesn't make you happy, then it's just going to create more stress, and it's just going to, make everything worse, especially when trying to heal. As for paying like medical bills or getting health insurance or disability, I am not an expert. And depending on where you live in the world, the rules are different, the doctors are different, the systems are different. So you just have to do your research and try to get some sort of support, income support if you can, to help for your bills. But if you're anything like me, many of us don't seek the help of our family doctor, but we might be seeing like a functional doctor or a naturopath, or if you're lucky enough, maybe an LLMD, which is a doctor that specializes in Lyme disease and co-infections and such. From what I read is, even for myself, all those different types of doctors, you have to pay out of pocket, or most of it out of pocket. It is not covered. Some of it might be, but for the most part, our insurance does not come even close to covering what we need. And that part really does have to change, but because, if you break a bone or if you have cancer, you're going to get all the right medical attention that you deserve. But why does it have to be different for something that's chronic? And I don't know, maybe this is going to be some information I could use for a different video, but I feel that so many of us are suffering and quietly suffering, and we pay for what we can. There's so much more we could try, but not everyone has the luxury to just get on a plane and go to Mexico to get proper treatment, or private like retreats that make you heal your mind, your body, your soul. I mean, those sound nice, but maybe one person out of 100 can try that? I don't know. And plus just like trying to leave a country to go to another country to get proper help for the condition you have just seems so unattainable for most. Many of us, I say us, no, many people that might have Lyme disease or even like celiac disease or thyroid issues or even hormonal issues, they kind of just all work together, but so many people go undiagnosed. They might not even know what's going on in their body, or they just don't have the funds to try to figure it out. I feel bad. And I mean, again, I am not in the worst condition. I get by most my days. After I film this video, I'm probably gonna go lie down. I'm not gonna lie. My body hurts today. I've got weird issues this week and last week. I'm just finishing up my mold treatment or detox, whatever you want to call it. Will be talking to my naturopath this afternoon. We are now early April. I said I was going to be starting my Lyme treatments in March, but things got pushed a little longer with the mold treatment, so hopefully we can start soon. When I do start something, I will let you know of my progress, and maybe I'll do a video just to update you with everything that is going on with my body that I don't know. I don't know why I'm having some of the issues I'm having in the last few weeks. But I think that'll be information for a different video. But I did start going back to my chiropractor a few weeks ago. I do find some relief, but it also brings up some other symptoms or pains and aches. So I will give it definitely a few more weeks to see if it can make some improvements. But yeah, so it's trial and error. You try to see what makes you feel better, and if something makes you feel worse, well, maybe you consider dropping it. But at times it has to feel worse before it can feel better too. So it's a lot of guessing. I feel like the last few years of my life, I'm guessing a lot. I give lots of different things a chance, but that can be very overwhelming. So I thank you for watching this video about how I cope while trying to work with chronic health symptoms. If you are going through a similar situation, I would love to hear what you do for work. What brings you a little income, and does it make you happy? So you can definitely share all your thoughts in the comments, and it'll be great to read what works for you. So I thank you for watching, and I will definitely see you in the next video. Bye for now.